The average age of an Ohio farmer is 56, and that figure is rising. So when it's time to turn the page, who will be there to write the next chapter?
As the kids were growing up, what I'd always had in the back of my mind, there was an opportunity or a chance that they would be able to stay on the farm and we'd all be able to work together. It's one of those things I think every father who farms wants to see that happen.
I think we've wanted to be farmers since day one, really. It's kind of been our passion since we were little. Before we could even reach the pedals and stuff, we was on the old tractors with the hand clutches and stuff, so we've always enjoyed it. We started out on the tractors that our great-great-grandparents bought brand new for their farms, is what we learned to drive on.
Wesley's the oldest, Matthew's the middle, and Philip is the youngest. They've all been a part of the farm.
I can remember we was both in track and field in junior high, and we'd come out, be home from practice, we'd both be sore and wouldn't want to do anything, but you know, Dad would always be like, there's still daylight, so we'd be out here working.
Yeah. There's a 2-hour delay for school, we'd be out here picking tomatoes before we go to school. When we were younger and we were baling hay and rain was coming in, it was see how hard you could push. And then if somebody else was slowing down, I mean, you would try and hurry up and finish them, or, you know, if it was Matthew, you'd start ribbing him, saying, why are you slowing down for? I mean, we still got all this to do. You're just wimping out.
Me? I don't know what the heck he's talking about, because normally, normally it's him that gets the good tractor, okay, gets the gravy job, right? Okay, and then the little brother gets stuck doing all the hard stuff, so I don't know what he's talking about.
That's called seniority.
Oh, seniority.
I paid my dues.
Okay, listen to him, listen to him.
I worked off the farm for a while they were growing up, so they learned to be a little bit more independent probably than some other farm kids on their own. So those were learning opportunities.
And then if something broke, it was an even better learning experience, because then you knew not to do that again. See, and that's how I think we've become so good at being mechanics.
When the tractor broke, they either had to figure out how to get it going or look for a way to explain to Dad why something didn't get done when he got home.
Just figuring out how to put stuff back together before Dad figured out what we did.
Yeah, that was always the trick. If Dad wasn't here, you had to fix whatever you broke before he got home.
As the kids grew up, the business changed.
Farming right now is a lot different than what it was in 1983 when we bought this place. We're doing vegetables, and 30 years ago I never dreamed I would be doing vegetables. Our base crop right now is tomatoes and cucumbers, and we never thought we'd be in the greenhouse business. We never heard of a CSA. As agriculture progresses in the future, there's going to be a lot more of those same changes down the road. I think the worst you can do for a business is to ignore change and not embrace it.
One change is the increased sharing of information.
Yeah, what are you looking for next week?
I don't know what it is.
And then we'll have that here this afternoon. Okay, we can do that. All right, we'll talk to you later, Dan. Thanks. All right, okay, bye.
Okay, I don't know if we have enough time to talk about Dad and his cell phone.
Boys make fun of me. My battery's usually dead by 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
So that's where a lot of our responsibilities come on, because he's on the phone, so now we have to delegate.
If you're going to go direct to consumers, they need to be able to get a hold of you. They need to be able to ask you questions. You need to be able to answer them. And you also need to network with other growers. So there has to be that communication.
As the kids grew, so did their responsibilities.
I go out and I do a lot of the CSA talk. I also do a lot of the wholesale deliveries, and I mean, I've taken over a lot more of the business end in this past year and a half. When will Hurley bring over the rest of the pickling cucumbers and sweet corn?
Matthew started out with an FFA project in the lettuce and then carried that on through, and now he's in charge of the lettuce side of the operation, which includes the lettuce and the bok choy and the greens in general.
So you just got water at the top and it just drains down and then just keeps recirculating. It's a continual flow. It'll run 24/7, never shuts off. Air circulation is everything. You gotta keep the air circulating at all times. So we have 2 big exhaust fans at the front to keep air moving. We have a ventilation tube at the top to keep the air circulating down around the house.
If we take the alfalfa out, then we can put the potatoes at the top of the hill, because we can't go back to the same place for potential for disease. We've had some different opinions about how the farm needs to be operated.
That was my only concern with doing this run is, we're going to have enough head pressure to open up the slits in the cold frame. We have differences almost daily. I mean, that's just
daily, hourly.
We have a little discussions back and forth about what needs to be done and how it needs to be done.
Depends on the day, what happened, what broke, what went wrong.
What emergency struck that day as to who thinks we should do what. And I mean, a lot of the times we end up coming to some kind of compromise.
If I see that it's going to cost us financially, I usually put my foot down and say, nah, that isn't going to happen.
If something doesn't work out very well, you know, you just kind of change the way you do it next time. It's all trial and error, and then you never let the other guy forget when he was wrong.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if it was their idea, you never let them live it down.
Farming isn't an easy way of life. There's going to be some ups and downs, and Dad also has to realize that they have to make some mistakes along the way. I think that's the hardest part, is you have to let them go and make some of those hard choices and know that some of them are going to be right, some of them are going to be wrong, but they learn from those experiences.
And with the CSAs, you actually talk to everybody face to face, and that's a big part of the CSA program, is people like to actually know who's growing their food. I mean, it's nice to be able to get out and drive and listen to the radio and leave some of the stresses of work behind.
Keep Wesley happy, that's our main goal here.
Yeah, that's definitely what he would say, but there's a lot of the times where I'm out doing this till, you know, I don't get home back till 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night, and Matthew's been long home and sitting in his lazy chair having supper by the time I get back.
Wesley isn't the only VanScoy racking up the miles.
I spend a lot of time on the road. It's an hour commute one way. So I get up about a little after 5 and I'm on the road right around 6 to go to school. I attend University of Northwestern Ohio in Lima, Ohio. So my major is agricultural equipment technology. I've been there just a little bit over a year now. Growing up on a farm was very enjoyable. I mean, I've learned how to work. Working with family at times is very challenging. Growing up, having 2 older brothers, we butt heads a lot.
All 3 boys have been encouraged to find their own path, and that's what they need to do. It would be nice if they would all stay here and work together, but it has to be something that they all 3 want to do.
There is a little bit of pressure to stay on the family farm, but you know, my dad has always been supportive of what I'm doing, and he's always got my back whenever I turn a corner that's a little rough.
Dad started this farm. He had to strike out on his own and, you know, and get the bank loan and purchase his own farm.
In today's farm economy, if Wesley or I would try and go out and buy a farm just on our own, I don't think that we could get it done. Not with the high land prices that we have now and the way the banks are.
$7,000 to $10,000 an acre. I mean, how can you be? You know, I'm 23 years old. How in the world could I come up, even just a 100-acre farm? How could I come up with 20% down?
It'd be hard. So we're pretty lucky, I think.
I think so.
I think one of the best things about working with the family is we've seen that we've accomplished something. And it isn't about material things, it's about building a relationship with all three boys. It's about preparing the boys for future, making men of them so they can take care of their own families, make their own decisions down the road. Dad can't be dad forever, but what I think we need to do is to prepare the next generation to have the same opportunities, if not more, than what we had. That should be a part of our legacy.